Welcome to the Excel Purpose Show with Karms.
Today we have with us Natasha Bazilovich. She's a public speaking trainer, coach, podcaster, and president at ChangeView. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you, Karms. It's great to be here.
So good to have with us today. I'm kind of really nervous talking to you, and I'm not normally nervous, so it's a really interesting feeling. And I think that's stemming from I'm still scared of public speaking, and online, virtually, is a little bit less scary than in person. And when I'm talking to you, it's I'm suddenly I feel more scared, which is a really interesting feeling for me. Tell us, how do you get through this anxiety, nervousness that most people is super scared about, beyond death? How do you get past that?
Well, Karms, this is so surprising to me because I've heard you on a podcast and it's what? You are scared? You're nervous to speak in public? No way. So, and plus also with me, come on, I'm not intimidating or anything. Usually people with me relax and they love talking and I can help them fall in love with public speaking. That's my passion. I absolutely adore public speaking, presentation skills, and also helping other people fall in love with it. Because as you understand, entrepreneurs, coaches, course creators, anyone that we work with, or people in the corporation, we all need speaking. We need presentation skills. We need to communicate. We need to share our ideas, share our messages, speak up at meetings. So this skill is so crucial. I can't imagine any leader not have good public speaking communication skills. That's why for me, that's one of the biggest joys is when I help people either overcome this fear of public speaking, of presentations, or some people don't have that fear, so they don't care. They can be in the spotlight and it's no problem. For those people, sometimes the challenge is to condense their message, to be really clear when they present and do it with persuasion and confidence.
I love how you mentioned that, because just so the people know, it's this is the first time I'm talking to Natasha, and she was recommended by someone I podcast earlier. So when you tell me that, I do feel that you have a very warm energy, and it does make me feel oh, okay, I can calm down. It's I can feel my sensation not so heightened. So I love that. I'm sure us we go on in this journey, I'm I'll just feel calm and calm.
Yes. Oh, let's enjoy this journey. And you know what? I just now realized I actually haven't answered your question. Because you asked me, how do people overcome this fear? How do you get through this? Because I started telling you how I love public speaking,
and I love it.
It's important.
So passionate about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yes, so some people do have this fear. Now, there are lots of techniques. There are lots of different ways of how you overcome it. And of course, first, you need to understand or maybe you don't have that, but people who have the fear or sometimes phobia, then they would need to really dig in and understand why. Where does it come from? Why are they either afraid, they have a fear, or maybe just nervous? Because also we need to differentiate between that. We all have nervousness, and that's normal. I get nervous when I go and speak in front of an audience that is new for me. And if I have to share a message that is new, then this nervousness, it shows me that I care. It just shows me that I'm a normal human being. And it helps me get excited. It helps me really get into the groove of it, because usually that nervousness, it gives us a little bit more energy. Yes. And that's why you can just feed from it and you can get enthusiastic, use your nervous energy and kind of ride it and show your passion. Because sometimes people get paralyzed, they're nervous and they freeze. Well, just switch that and use the nervousness to ride that nervous energy for enthusiasm. So that's one of the things. But then if actually it's not just nervousness, if it's actually a fear, then there's deeper work that needs to be done. And I'm not even a person that would want to do that. I'm more of a trainer, and I love to help people really get into the skill and hone that skill and learn how to do it. If anybody listening, if you feel like you have a phobia, a big fear of public speaking, and you can dig in and try to understand where it comes from, you could remember that maybe sometime in the childhood you gave a presentation or a little speech and someone mocked you, teased you, that where it could be coming from. Maybe parents didn't praise you. Maybe they said that you will never be able to do anything like that. So actually, it's good to work with coaches, with some NLP coaches, like with you, for example. You work with NLP. A lot of NLP techniques can help with that. Then some other specialist experts can uncover the limiting beliefs. So it's really deep mindset work that can help with this. But one thing that I helped my clients is exposure therapy. So if you are ready to actually work, if you understand where it came from, so you did some mindset work, you start just practicing it. And one of my clients, she was a friend also, and then she was a part of my program. And she had a fear of public speaking. She really was nervous to go and speak in public virtually, but her dream was to start a Spanish club and school of teaching Spanish. And so she told me, she said, you know what? I have tachycardia. I have to take pills every time I need to speak. Maybe that's not for me. She says, Natasha, maybe I should just give up. I said, is that your dream? Do you really want to achieve that? Or do you think that you want to give up on your dream now? She says, no, I really want it. Okay, then we decided, then you have to work. You can't really escape it because you will need to speak online, to create videos. You'll need to talk to groups. So we studied exposure therapy. That's when you just go out and you speak. You start small. You speak in small groups. Then you speak to bigger groups. You can start with just talking to your phone, and there's just yourself. Either you're recording yourself and looking, then watching yourself, or you can create a Facebook group that's empty. There's just you, and then go live there and overcome this barrier of clicking on that live button and actually speaking. Then go to small groups, maybe go to a group where nobody knows you. So who cares? Just go join a group where they allow you to go live, and then go live and share a little message. Read a quote and then go live and tell people what you think about a quote. And that will be your practice. So the more you expose yourself to speaking, that could be either online or in person, the easier it will become for you, the more confident you will get. And sometimes it can be even just standing in a group of people, of your colleagues somewhere at the cooler, drinking water. And there are 5 people, let's say, and everyone is sharing their opinion of what they've just heard on the news. And you're standing and thinking, oh, I want to say this, but maybe it will sound stupid. Well, that's your cue. You've got to speak up right now, because this is the exposure therapy. That's when you have to speak up. And I'm telling you, that's how it works. It will help with every fear. Exposure therapy works.
That is so true. I have never heard of that term, exposure therapy, but as you're talking through it, you've pretty much taken the words out of my mouth, where I do remember I used to just think, I'm going to look really stupid saying that. Like that is like what that is like. Yeah. And then so you sit there, like I would sit there, not say anything. The meeting goes by. And then it's like at the end, it'll be like the only contribution I have will be like, bye everyone.
Yes, I know. Well, I think all of us, we all had those thoughts, even the most confident people who seem like so successful and great, but they share that they have imposter syndrome. We all have this. Okay, I say all, but let's say all of us achievers with growth mindset. So people who want to grow, who try to do new things, who get out of our comfort zones, we all every once in a while get an imposter syndrome. That's why it's normal to feel that way.
How did you come to find like your unique voice and style? Because that's like, it's one thing to get through it, and then like when you're talking about imposter syndrome, it's when everyone's like, well, they're trying to be everybody else out there. There's people better than them. So how do you find this uniqueness about you? Because I know that's something you specialize in.
Yes. Well, it's trial and error. I've tried this, I've tried that. I've been searching for my message, my style, understanding myself. And on my journey, and it's like right now I'm 45 years old, and I started when I was 20, and maybe in my 20s, I really wanted to grow and develop, and I've been reading, learning a lot, and taking lots of courses and mentors and coaches and everything. And I remember I was so much into personality tests and all kinds of different personalities. You too? Are you a personality test junkie?
Yeah. I've always
That's how I call myself.
Every time I see one.
Yes, me too. And so maybe you've heard of MBTI, DISC, Gallup, Strengths Finder. So all of these tests, especially MBTI and Gallup, they have helped me understand myself. And then I would be taking them several times, and I could see how I was changing, how I was developing. I started understanding my own style. So Gallup Strengths Finder showed me, okay, these are my strengths, these are my gifts. So I started developing those strengths. And then, because, this was all over the years of all this growth and reading and development and learning. And then finally, probably just in the last couple of years, I understood who I am, that I actually don't want to be a speaker like others, everybody else. Like my best friend, for example, she is a type of speaker who is very persuasive, and she's pretty controlling her emotions. She is not too emotional. She's very passionate and very strong speaker, but she speaks like this, like Winston Churchill, like Oprah and Brené Brown. And I'm more of more like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee kind of crazy style, this fire. So I started understanding that there are different styles. And that's when I actually dug into the topic of speaking energies, because also energy is my power, my superpower. Everyone was telling me that I have this interesting energy, this amazing energy. And I'm thinking, well, everyone does. Everyone has a special kind of energy. We just all have different speaking energies. And so that's when I started my research, and I'm writing a book right now. I'm finishing a book on 4 speaking energies. I connect so them.
Cool. I need to hear this. I'm like, what are the energies?
Yeah, I connect them to 4 elements: earth, fire, water, and air.
Right.
And I'm, for example, fire. The friend of mine that I was telling you, she's earth. I think you're fire too, just from listening to your style. But then there's also water. Water is melodic, and it's speaking like this, and it's more balanced, and it has a lot of harmony in it. And there's just, so water will be Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King. But then there's also air. So these are people who are introverts, and they speak with some quietness. Maybe they are shy. Maybe they used to be shy, but they're not anymore.
Like Robert Greene.
Who's that?
Oh, the guy that does this like power book. He sounds just like us. You're talking
just like that. Yeah. So some people, well, Seth Godin also speaks like this. He's Bill Gates. He talks.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very introverted guy. He's very smart. He's very powerful. Can you imagine the power of that intellect? But he has the air speaking energy. He's not super energetic. He's not persuasive like that. He's not melodic. No, he's air. And that's why I always tell people who are introverted. I have a client who is introverted with this kind of air energy, and he used to try to be like Tony Robbins and speak like this, and it would sound fake. And then when he understood that his energy, speaking energy, actually has a lot of power, he realized it, he started using it. That's when he saw the beauty of it. And that's why I think it's so important to understand who you are, how you speak.
That's so cool. Like, so that we don't get caught up in this, like, oh, this person is a really good speaker, and we're thinking we need to mimic this, but to understand at least there's those 4 buckets. I think most people will be able to resonate with that. So that gives hope to others with different personality. I love it. Tell me about why you have this like passion on helping women specifically, because I know you love to empower women around the world.
Yes, I know. Well, of course, I love helping everyone, both men
Yeah.
and women, but there is this soft spot for women, just because I've seen women in the world not being realized, and especially because there's this one girl in Afghanistan that I worked with. I was volunteering teaching English to some ladies, young girls, young women in Afghanistan. It was before Taliban. It was 2014, 15. And we became really wonderful friends. And she's amazing. She's so talented. She wanted to be a journalist and wanted to change her country. And but she, in Afghanistan, even then, even before Taliban, they couldn't go out without a man. They had to always have head covering. They didn't have, some families wouldn't allow women to have education. Her father was progressive, so she went to this school created by, basically, well, it was like a mission, like a volunteer organization, and for women to learn English. And so she was studying. And when I saw that women don't really have the voice, they don't have opportunities, and I saw how talented she is, and she's just a gem. She would have so much potential. And now with Taliban, she has no voice. She has no opportunities. She is at home. She has a wonderful husband and beautiful family. She has a child, but she really can't realize that potential and those dreams that she had. And this is a pain in my heart, that women in the world are not using their potential. A lot of men have much more opportunities, and women, and of course now in the Western world especially, women have more opportunities, not as much as men probably. It's changing, so that's good. But in a lot of parts of the world, still women are undervalued, underappreciated. And really, I think women are such, there's beautiful energy, there are wonderful talents, there are powerful messages in women's hearts, and the empathy and the gentleness of a feminine energy, it needs to be used in the world. We've lived enough in the world and the environment of masculine energy, and even our women are trying to use the masculine energy to achieve goals, which is good. Yeah, we need both those. We need the balance of both energies, feminine and masculine. But we've lived in the masculine world for too long, so let's get the feminine energy some voice.
You're right. Like when you say that, it's like, I know that I channel a lot of that masculine energy as well. And it's kind of become my personality over time, I think. Climbing the corporate ladder, wearing the suit, deepening in the voice. It's like, it's all just now become a part of me. I don't think I started off that way, but because that wasn't appreciated, I remember at a young age, like people would say, oh, my voice is too sharp, and it's like, no, not nice to hear. And then I see my brothers get so much appreciation and attention, and it's like, I wanted that. Like, it's like, I don't want the feminine traits if that's not gonna like help me or serve me. And I just get in trouble for it. How do people embrace their femininity to bring that back out? I do see kind of around the world, like we see more of that feminine energy kind of coming through, being accepted, especially things that like K-pop and things like that. Like they are quite feminine in their energy, and it's like, it does work. In the speaking world, don't see that as much. What would you say to women that's like, they're still very reserved in their shell, want to get their voice out there, but it's like, yeah, like it's scary trying to get into this, like all this masculine energy. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I first of all, I want to agree with you that there are not that many women speakers who actually have feminine energy. Like even Mel Robbins, she has such masculine energy. She's amazing. She's incredible, but she has masculine energy. I would say that Oprah, though, Oprah, she has a pretty balanced feminine and masculine energy, because she has the warmth about her. And that is what we need to strive for. We need to strive for balance. We don't want to just have feminine. We don't want to just have masculine. We want the balance. We want to be able to use both of them whenever they are needed. Because of course you want to have this kind of voice. I mean, that is the power of the voice. That's also what I teach. And I love to teach voice. It's because if you want to persuade someone, if you go to a corporate meeting and you want to share a message, you want to use your low pitch voice. But when you want to connect, you use the high pitch voice. And that is the beauty, because then it will be a different meaning. But see, you want to play with your voice and use different pitches. And that's also how, with energies. You want to use feminine when you are connecting, when you're building relationships, when you want to show empathy, when you don't want to show this kindness and flow, flexibility, this feminine energy. But then you want to achieve a goal. You need to plan. You want to be precise. You want clarity. You want strategy. That's masculine energy. We need to be able to use both, but we need to have wisdom on when and where, in which situations. What will I say to women speakers, or who want to speak, who want to share their voices, is, first of all, get it into your head that feminine energy is good. Don't think, because I think the biggest problem that women that we've had in the last decade, even of when kind of women started getting out there and we've got some more opportunities and, you know, all this diversity and inclusion and equity that women need to be in the workplace, still in our head, there's this stereotype that we need to be more masculine if we want to achieve high results. We need to see the beauty and the value of our feminine energy in leadership. We need to know how much empathy is important, and the kindness and the ability to understand people. All of this is very, very important. Of course, don't just focus on that and don't sit in that, and use both of them and the balance of them. But stop seeing it as your weakness. Your feminine energy is not your weakness, whoever is listening right now. Just find and try to understand how you can use your feminine and your masculine, both of those. You can read what are the attributes of these energies. And then you can find ways of how you can use your empathetic side, and how you can use your goal setting and analytical side at your work and when you are speaking also. And part of speaking is the voice part, is what I said. Play with it.
Yeah, I love that you talk about the balances. It's okay to know that we can go from both sides. It's not one on the other, so it's fluid. And also in our life, it's like, just because in career we've picked a particular path, we can chop and change and go different direction. It's not like, once I pick this thing, well, I have to just keep going up, like ride that masculine energy. And whether we had a goal initially, it's okay for that to be fluid as well. And I know you're adjusting your path. What's coming up ahead for you? Because you've got some changes that's going on, right? Like you're heading to a different direction.
Yes. Well, for me right now, for example, since I'm from Ukraine, I had to come to the US, maybe not necessarily move here like, to live forever, but at least for maybe a year, 2, 3, I don't know for how long I will be here. And my business is in the US. So right now I'm settling. I do my business. I'm working on my book. I am doing my podcast, but I also right now am working into the corporate, actually. So it's interesting. I'm not coming out of corporate. I'm going into it so that I could apply my gifts in the corporate world and help leadership there and create the programs and also bring in this energy that I have and these ideas that I have into the corporate world. But that I know that will also in the future help my business and my speaking career. And all of this is interconnected. So that is my vision. But definitely the future that I see is finishing my book and then speaking a lot about the 4 different speaking energies and helping people in my workplace where I will be in the corporate world, but also helping people everywhere in the world where I will be able to speak and to share this, and everyone who will get the book to understand what is their speaking style, what's their speaking energy, and then how they can develop it. And then also after that, when you know yours, you know yourself, you on that self-awareness, you can build other speaking energies, because we talked about balance. It's not just, okay, here's where I am, I'm air or I am fire, and I'm just going to be like this and you guys accept me for who I am. No, like I said, you need to be able to adjust, and that's the wisdom, and that's the power, that's the skill, but it's, you have to build on knowing yourself first. So after you've developed your style, then now go and learn all those other speaking energies and see how you can apply earth speaking energy when you need to go and persuade someone. That's when you need to speak like that. Don't be like someone else. No, you don't have to copy, but you just take the attributes of that speaking energy and learn persuasion. If you need to maybe get enthusiastic sometimes a little bit more, become a little bit of fire. Let's say you're air or earth. You are just quiet. Well, maybe sometimes you need to get a little fired up. Not too much, not in a fake way, but just a bit. So dial it up a little. And that's when we learn those different ways of using the speaking energies on our path, in our career, in our life.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like if there's an issue that's like we're really passionate about, and it's like that angers us or frustrates us, or that fire needs to come out for the message to get across. Yeah, I do think that's so important. Like, we're just not expressive enough. And I had to learn that over time, and it's still developing that. Like, I tell a lot of people, like, I'm an introvert, and they're like, no, you are not. And it's like, no, I am. Like, it's like, I'll do my thing, and then like I kind of like go back and re-energize. But it's like, you're right. It's like you know who you are by nature, like what you feel like you are. And then it's like learning, because I think of it in my head as like, I just flip the switch. It's like, well, if I need to be an extrovert, I'll do that. But like, I don't stay there the whole time. It's like, I can come back, and that's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you know how to switch, when you learn, that's a skill. Being able to, not in a fake way, so you're still authentic you, but you just learn those attributes, and you know when to turn them on in the appropriate situation. Yep.
Awesome. So what gets Natasha out of bed? What drives you? What's your purpose? Because people find it so hard to find their purpose. So I love asking people, how did they find theirs?
I know. Yeah. And that is so important. I think what you're doing, what you're talking about, finding a purpose and working inside of your purpose is crucial, because like you said, a lot of people don't know. And when people live this miserable life of going to work every day and not enjoying what they're doing and not even understanding why they're doing it, then I think that that's sad. For me personally, I have two. I have a big one and I have a smaller personal one. So if we talk about my personal, like right now kind of goal and purpose, it's still big for me, but it's not in a global sense. My family in Ukraine, my biggest purpose right now in everything I do, and even getting this job, because I want to settle in New York City. And for that, I need to get a job, and I want to be there for several certain opportunities so that I could help my family, and I could help my friends in Kiev, and I can help my country. So for me right now is actually doing everything I can financially and in terms of networking and contacts, is helping the country and the loved ones in Ukraine. But also globally, a big purpose for me is helping women and men, helping people in the world to find that voice and find that style and actually speak, help them develop those speaking skills and actually share their message and speak up and bring their voices to the world.
Yeah, awesome. What's your other one? You said you had two, right?
Yeah, these are the two. So first is Ukraine. And the second one is global, is to help people in the world with their voice. Yeah.
Right. You know what I really like about that is that I think some people misunderstand me in that they think that I'm about like, hey, you got to quit your 9 to 5 to start your thing. But it's like, I'm actually not about that. But it's like, it's just that most people happen to be doing a job they don't like, that when I've come across them, they complain about it. So it's like, why are you doing that? You should do the thing that you actually love. And you're like this classic case of, it's like, yeah, you are serving your purpose. You are doing what you love. And it is okay to do your own business if that's the thing you want. Or when circumstances change, you can go work in corporate and do a job. And it's the job that you love because you are doing the work that you want to do, right? That's the key.
Yes, you find the job that you will enjoy. Yeah. Find something that you will love doing. Yes, exactly. It's when you're looking for a job, if, for example, anyone is looking to change a job or just to get one, then it has to be something that you know you'll enjoy doing. And you need to be doing it with people who you will enjoy working with. So for sure. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time. Our last question. If people want to find you, what's the best place to connect with you, Natasha?
Yes, I have a website, natashabasilovich.com. So that's a lot of letters, of course. But you can find the link, I'm sure.
Excel in life, live your purpose, be free.